Rodney, thanks again for your business, buddy. We're going to do a little quick video so we can kind of walk you through some of the systems. What's going to come with it is that you can have two power pole controls. There's one in the boat. I'll get inside in a minute and show you how to use it. You have a second key fob. There's no ignition switches, so they use these. So you're going to have two of them. Please do not lose them, because if we use both of them, it's got to be completely reconfigured. This is to lock the head door, and this is for your glove box. So I'm going to leave these here. You're also going to have a remote for your trolling motor. So to kind of get started, I'm going to start at the back of the boat to begin, and we're going to walk back here. I'll show you your battery switches in a minute, but we got your two power poles. You got your kicker. The kicker motor is going to be in a box. You can't ship it with oil in it. So we put oil in it, we've started it and run it. There will be 2 quarts of oil in the crate because we're shipping it back in the box. Any questions adding the oil, let us know. So when you're towing a boat of this size, you don't use this. We'll call this a trailing bracket. It is really just a service bracket. So with the battery switch on, you can come over here, turn the engine up, your up and down light without having to be inside the boat. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. This shock right here just goes on the port side. You can stick it right on there. You only need one. You don't need to go down too hard. You're going to bring it down just to where it kind of compresses and you can't spin it. So this is what you're going to be doing when you're trailing the boat. You're not trailing, of course you have to have that out. I'll go over the jack and plate a little bit more at these once we get inside the boat. There's a fuel line. So we just put a tie wrap on it to keep it from banging around. That's just going to feed your outboard motor kicker that we've installed. I'll also show you how to throw the fuel valve to take the fuel from your main engine to your kicker once I get inside the boat. I'm going to go aboard here and we'll do a little bit of walkthrough inside. All right, Rodney, welcome aboard your new boat, buddy. So your engine hatch, when you lift this up, I've got it up to show you, but I did this for a main reason. People want to force this down. So we're going to push this in, and then we're going to pull it down like this. You got your nice backrest seat there. So first and foremost, at the end of the day, you want to cut your battery switches off, just so no power is going to be traded. Even with the battery switches off, what remains hot all the time is your float for your bilge pump. So with the battery switch off, water gets into the bilge and the float's activated. They wire it around the switch so it remains hot all the time. That's up. Very easy to get to, super duper easy access. So if you come to your right here, we've got all the battery switches on. All the switches are to the right, so now we've got everything powered up. You've got a helm breaker, main one, electronics breaker, that if something's not working and they trip, they're located back here. Your float for your bilge pump is just in front of the bilge pump. You also have what's called a high water alarm. This is only going to activate if you got a lot of water in the bilge, so that should never happen. But if water gets up to a little bit more to the left, you'll see another float switch. That is called a high water alarm. Doesn't have a pump, but it's going to light up a big alarm to let you know to come back here and figure out what's going on. Beautiful wiring setup they've got here. This is the Minn Kota charger for your engines. You also have another one forward for your trolling motor. Pumps for live wells and raw water washdown. So once we've got that switches on and we're ready to go boating, remember again, this is a key thing. We don't want to see you break these. These are pretty expensive. Push this in, let it line up, and then bring it down. And before I get to the dash, I'm going to go over how to get fuel to your kicker motor. back here. These are all on tension hinges too. If these get too loose or you want it tighter, it's simply all the Robalo uses these tensions. They're more expensive, but they really work good because you don't need a shock or a spring. You can tighten them up just using an Allen screw. So we're going to pick this up and get your nice Robalo bucket. You're going to have 2 pumps for your Raptor power poles. There'll be one of these on each side. Shouldn't have to do anything with them. They've already got the fluid in them and they're ready to go. Chance, can you get back in that corner to where the water separating fuel filter is? Can you get a shot of that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to put my hand in here. So just forward on the back end of this water separating fuel filter, this valve is straight up. That's what's going to feed your main engine. If you need to operate that kicker motor in an emergency or however you decide you want to use it, you're just simply going to take and push the valve over to the right. That's now going to allow the fuel to feed the kicker motor. And then when you finish with your kicker motor, just make sure to get the main engine to start. Bring that straight up at 12 o'clock. So it's 12 o'clock, main engine, 3 o'clock to do your your kicker motor. Back. We also have another bucket on the other side. It's great to have some pretty big mates on that side over there. All right, we're going to go to the dashboard now and kind of go over some of the systems. You have 2 of these. These are for your power poles. They're rigged to set up to deploy both of them at the same time. And again, you have 2 of these. I'll put some key bombs on them so they float, just so you'll have them. But they also have some adhesive on the back that if you just wanted to come over here and maybe mount one on the dashboard somewhere if you wanted to, or put it on a key bob and use it any way you like. But it does have some adhesive in the back. So now we're ready to deploy the power poles. You got an up and a down. And I'm going to hit twice. And that's going to deploy it. To bring it up, it's going to hold. I got to hold the button down and it brings it up. But because it's set up so you don't have to just do one at a time, you can hit the down button, but you hit push once, push down the second time and hold it down. Bring your power poles. Again, you're going to have 2 of these. We'll go over the boat bag, and when I get back out of the boat, I'll show you all the stuff that's in your owner's bag. Okay, just to start your engine. If you want to lock it out, these have a lock and an unlock button. And once you hit the lock button, whether you got the battery switch or not, it will not start. So right now, it's already been pushed to unlock it. Please make sure your engine is neutral. This is where people call us and say, we love you, but the boat won't start. You got to make sure that you're neutral. It will not turn over. Our water is super duper low today as the storm's coming through, so I'm not going to start the engine. But you come up here to the dash, you can hit the power button. That's all ready to go. Now what's going to happen is your Yamaha gauge is now going to power up. It's not going to show any data, of course, because the engine's not running. I'll just go over a couple screens with you. So right now, when you're running, what's nice about this particular gauge is that it shows you if you're in neutral or not. So a lot of people don't look at it, they just have it in forward, they try to start it, and it won't start. So 2 reasons it won't start. You're not in neutral, or somebody has taken the safety lanyard off, and if that happens, it'll turn over. But you'll get an alarm, and it just basically, you have no power to the engine. Of course, in rough seas, please attach that to your life jacket or your belt, so if something did happen, it won't throw you overboard. This is your trim angle. It's going to tell you the trim angle of the motor. I've got the shock in place, but as I bring this down, when this gets all the way down to 1 bar, that means the motor's all the way in, and that's the way you want to kind of plane and get started at that. Try not to run it. Try to start it or run the boat with the trim up, or it's not going to come down very well. You also have one more screen. Slide over to here. You got 0.8 hours, 1.1 hours. So this is the trip hours and this is the total hours. So we started up on land to make sure that everything's running properly. It's used 1.7 gallons of gas. That's showing an estimated how far your trip was. This is a key gauge. So for the first 10 hours, we want you to vary your RPMs, not run it wide open. Don't drive it like you stole it, Rodney, until you get 10 hours on it. Once you get 10 hours, drive it any way you want. After the 20 hours of this engine, that's when it's going to require its first service. And that's just to change the engine oil and your lower unit fluid. I do recommend getting a certified Yamaha dealer down there to do that for you. If somebody does it that's not certified, it doesn't void your warranty, but what it does, make sure that person's using Yamalube fluids. If you're putting some gas station oil in there, Exxon, and it has an engine, they're going to analyze that oil. So make sure that you're going to be using Yamalube fluids. I'm going to go back to here again and just slide this back over to your main screen. So that's the motor. The motor's now on, and then of course I'm not going to hit it, but once I push the start button, the engine's going to start and run. Don't run it dry. Make sure that engine's down in the water enough to keep it cool, and go out there and enjoy your boat. Your trim for the motor up and down is located right here. You're going to have some things on here that are not functionable because this is the same controller they use it with 3 motors. There's no difference between it. The station button doesn't do anything. If this was a Skydeck version and you had an upper bridge, this is how you would go from one station to another. This is not a Skydeck, so you won't be using it. People do use neutral hold. If I hit put neutral hold, that's going to allow me to now throttle this engine in neutral to rev it up. It's a fuel injected engine. It's not used often, but we do sometimes see it being used when, and you have to be in neutral to do this. If you wanted to rev it up because you thought there was a piece of debris or grass on the little overboard water stream that you get to show that it's cooling properly, if you get a little piece of debris in it, put it in neutral, go to neutral hold, and they just rev it up a couple times, and that usually will blow out any trash that could get caught in there. And that's basically really all you're going to use. If you want to use trim assist, you can. To me, it's not that good of a function because it starts to trim the bow up before you're ready. The trim tabs that you have really are not necessary to get bow lift or stern lift. The boat's a well-balanced boat, but if you're having an awkward load, over here, just cut the tabs on over here. You hear that noise? That is the electric actuators being activated. And it's really more for balancing your load. So if you've got a bunch of people on the left-hand side and you're trying to get it balanced because you're on top of the water, and say we're leaning to the left, we're just going to hit bow down a couple times and you'll literally see the boat go from here and level out. If you're ever to put the boat in dry storage, or even somebody picks it up with a forklift, when you cut the trim tab button off, Rodney, they're going to retract back into its normal position. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the power off here. Again, you're going to have 2 of these. I'm going to kind of walk you now through the dashboard. First and foremost, it takes a couple seconds for these maps to load, so I'm just going to push this Robalo button in.
All right, where I'm going.
This is going to take a second to load, so while that's loading, we'll come over here. Remember I mentioned the high water alarm? If you get that water up to that second float, this thing's going to light up, and it's also going to make a big screaming noise, so you can go back and address to see what's happening back there. Horn. There's no fresh water on board, so it's an open breaker. This is for your raw water washdown. So one of those pumps back there, when we push this, it's going to feed the water. And it's separately, it's not shared with the live well pump. It's going to put water right straight to that. And that way, if you do get some blood on the deck or somebody spills something and you want to clean the deck up, I don't recommend washing the boat with salt water, but you kind of rinse your deck down. The waters will go over the scuppers and directly overboard. And here is a raw water washdown hose already ready for you. So that's already down in here. Down in here also, chance if you can get a shot of this. There's 2 poles that go in the front for that casting platform. I'll show you that down in the head in a moment. And what that's there for is if you want to make the bow area a casting platform, that table will drop down low and make it flush. That's the short pole. Long pole is you're ready to bring out some snacks, set it up as a table. There's your long pole. The cooler is very easy to slide in and out. You got a little bracket on this side here, chances are one on that side. And that allows you to pull it out, access the cooler better. But once you get it in place, you push that, put it back in, this cooler is going nowhere, going down the road as fast as you can go on the boat. Come back over here. So we just washed down the trim tabs I showed you a minute ago. Again, these all light up. Maybe difficult to see that in the sunlight, but they'll light up when these switches are active. If any of these switches stop working, the breakers for them are right on the left-hand side. Now you have a live well forward. That forward live well is right there. Push it again, it's off. You got an aft live well. There's two of them. There's a port and a starboard one. And the live well is located right here. Notice that you've got these in here. If you're using predatory baits and you don't want the baits to eat each other, or you want to keep some bait on this side and maybe put some fish in this side, it separates them. So how this works is when you got the live well on, you can adjust the water flow right here. The water's going to come in. These are all Yeti style plugs. So we're going to take this out. If I want to maintain a water level in the live well, we're just going to unscrew this one, and this now is going to be a standpipe. The standpipe, we're going to screw it in, and what it'll do is when the water comes up, this is now your overflow, so it'll maintain that height of water in here to keep the culling fish, or you caught a small one, you would think you're going to catch a big one, you can keep it alive and release it, or different baits. And I'll put that back in, and then when you take that out, it'll self-drain. It drains overboard when you take this plug out, and the standpipe out, it's all going to run right out. That works the same on both. On this dash, besides the live wells, you're going to see over here, when the live well is running, I didn't cut them on, you will see a light. I'm doing the starboard one now. Putting it off. Now I'm going to do the port one. So when your live well is activated, you also have a nice LED light there so you can see it if you're using it at night. Put those off. So that's this side of the dash. These two breakers work this live well. Half bilge pump. That's, if there's any water in the bilge, it would pump overboard. When I cut this off, it's not uncommon to have a little bit of water in your bilge. But if for some reason this bilge pump here light comes on, that just means that the float that's back there has been activated. It's no reason to panic. It just means it's cut on. If it cuts on for a second and then the float comes back down and it goes out, it's just letting you know the live well's been activated. You can also activate it manually by pushing the button. And if you're pumping a lot of gas, a lot of water out of the bilge all the time, something's not right. This boat's been put in the water, we've run it, and we've checked all systems. Navigation lights, you got your red and the green in the bow, and your mast light is your anchor light or your 360-degree nav light. If I push it one time, you can notice all these go blue. That's letting you know that full navigation lights are on. If I push it one more time, you notice all the blue lights went out, but this stayed on, because that means the mast light is now on. That has to be on, when it starts getting dark or it's early in the morning and you're using the boat, whether it's using your trolling motor to stay on point or you're not moving, another boat approaching is going to let you know that you're not moving and then how to navigate around you. One more time, it cuts off. Courtesy lights, kind of a little bit of bling to it. If you look at your speaker grills back here, on the side and the front, and then there's also two aft here on that back seat. All of those are going to light up. Did you get a chance to show us the light? You also have another light up in the front. So that's kind of your courtesy light. You've been able to light that floor up in the evening. It's also a pretty good look when you sit in the restroom. I'm gonna come on back down again. That's gonna cut the courtesy lights off. Your spreader lights. So you have two in the back, and I really like what they do in the back here. So these are all LED, but they're not fixed. So if you're trying to get something at a tackle box, or the wife's trying to get something out of the purse, you can move these around as you move forward to the boat. We'll also have one big spreader light up in the back. And then, if you ever decided to add underwater lights, that's why it says UW. There's a breaker there set up that makes it pretty easy if somebody does want to add underwater lights. And again, remember, breakers on the right hand side. You can also cut the power onto this using this here. This is an emergency start, which if for some reason you tried to start it, the battery, one of the batteries are weak, not enough to crank it over. If you hit the emergency start button, that's going to parallel all the batteries together to always get you started. Jack and plate. That's going to lift your jack and plate up and down right here. Trim tabs went over that. Another real important feature, they do have a pretty nice stereo as well. I'll go to the stereo and then we'll get to the Simrad. A little connectivity package here too as well. USB-C and a 12-volt plug. Cell phone charger, does Androids, iPhones, Google phones, charges them all. To cut the stereo on, we're just going to do a little push on the button here. And it's going to come up Clarion. It's set up on a, right now it's just set up for AM, FM. It's easy to set, so your power button is really your mode button. If I push it one more time, it's going to give us AM. It's going to give you a weather band. That's for your tuner. Now this is where you want to go and pair your phone to your iPhone, whatever source you're using, and again, it'll show up on your screen as Clarion. And then when you want to cut the unit off, we use that to change modes, but to cut it off, we're just going to hold that down, and then it cuts it right off. Kind of completes the dash. You do have a little lockable glove box right here. I'm going to take all the keys and the extra remotes, and we're going to put that in your boat bag. But that is if you want to lock something there. Very common key to lock this. So if you do lock it, don't put any valuables, because that key will open up most RVs and any little cuddy cabin sold in the 90s. So the key's very, very common. When you power your Simrad up, it's going to ask you to accept the terms and conditions of this unit. Basically, it's giving them liability, telling you that to use common sense. If it's telling you to go somewhere that you know looks unsafe, don't follow it. There is a mobile app available. If you wanted to be able to get your mobile app, put it on your phone, sit at the breakfast table and plot your course and Bluetooth it to this screen, you have that capability. You can just say not now for now. I've got this just on the instrument gauge. It doesn't give you a lot because really your main functions are right here. But if this is like your key up here to the left, that's going to give you like your home page. So if I want to do total just sonar, it's going to give me one big picture. It's going to show my voltage, shows your time, shows your waypoints. Even shows you your water temperature. We'll come back here and we're trying to do charts, of course. What we do love about this is they're always going to show you your depth no matter what screen that you're on. Back here again. If we want to just do nav, again, it's still going to be giving you your depth on all the screens. And these are just combinations. I'm going to send you a link to Simrad University that has a little bit more in depth all the capability of the screen, because I could spend 2 hours just sitting on this thing. But we've got some combos set up already. That's going to give you depth and nav to split screen. I'll come back here again. Say I didn't want that particular screen right there. When you hit your edit button, these are all going to have X's there, so I can delete that one and then just go back. And now that's gone. If I wanted to add something, do the same thing. I'm going to push the add button. I'm going to put that Echo is sonar. We're going to drag it over here, and then we're going to put that navigation in there together. And when we hit save, it's going to bring it right back. So again, a lot of capabilities. The manuals are in there. I'm going to send you a couple of really helpful videos too, Rodney. To cut the unit off, I do like to go back to my home screen and then just hold the button down. One common thing is people call me and say my screen's too dim or my screen's too light. When that screen is up, if we give it just a little quick push on the power button, you'll have a backlit mode where I can pull my gauge up and down to make the screen brighter or lighter depending upon what kind of daylight or sunlight you're out of the boat. I think it's pretty good up here on the dashboard, guys. You do have a cover to cover your screen. Now we're going to put your drain plug, important part of the boat, Rodney. Put your drain plug in before you go boating. It's a 1/2-inch pipe plug. We're going to leave it right here in this cup holder for you, okay? I'm going to take the extra keys and remotes out of the boat. As we move forward, we'll just kind of go to the head area real quick. We're going to stow all your cushions away so they're not going down the road and have a chance to get blown out. Basic porta potty, the directions for that is down inside the head. Over to the right hand side is that casting platform / table. I mentioned to you a minute ago there's 2 poles back there. Short one makes this a flush right over here, so if we're trying to make this table to sit flush so you're fishing, you don't have to step in the hole, it'll fill right in here. The tall table makes that table sit up a table for doing some snacking. So what I'm going to do right now while we're in here, I'm going to move these cushions down below to get it, because we're going to be getting the boat picked up in a little while. We'll just put these down in here. And we may just get in, because there's a lot of, we may get them to put these in the truck. I just want to get them out of the way right now for being up front. And you know, these are your fish boxes. One on each side. This is storage on this side for rods. The other side is a fish box. Nice refrigerator seal on all of them. Keep your ice lasting a very long time. This is where that bracket to make the table be a casting platform or a table, it slides right in here. The other part goes on the bottom of the table. You come up forward, you got a separate battery charger. These battery chargers, that's dedicated just for your trolling motors to be able to charge them. Trolling motor batteries are below that deck piece there. We mentioned earlier, a few minutes ago, that we had a forward live well. Same way. It works a little differently. It doesn't have a standpipe. So if I'm trying to fill this up, I'm going to put my Yeti fitting in here, tight. The water's going to come in right here. You're going to see that. And then it's going to overflow and come out and go over this one over here on the left. So it'll maintain that amount of water in there. And also, if you're not using 3 live wells, they make great coolers too. And the boat we ordered, they're custom anchored. So you've got plenty of line and chain wherever you're going to be boating in Florida, wherever you like to go, already mounted, ready to deploy. And yes, we tied the other end of the boat so you won't lose your anchor. The trolling motor, that is pretty, there's a bracket to hold it in place. I'm going to send you another video, not in the water, so it's going to be hard to show you how to use it, but it's all done with the remote. Very simple to use. I'll send you a video on that too. And again, Rodney, just remember one thing. We're not going to block your phone number after the sale. You can call my cell, call the office. I'm not available. There's people here that can help you. So I'm going to walk outside, just show you one thing on the trailer before you get going. We really appreciate your business and letting us help you out. Think of anything I may have missed?
No, I cannot.
I do want to say one thing about the head door in the front. People like to slam them. There's no reason to slam it. If you keep slamming it, it's like, we're going to go shut this. I'm going to pull these cushions out. I don't want to wrinkle them because we're going to put them in this truck separately. But if I want to close this door, people just want to slam it, just come in like this and pull your latch back. just slam it hard, you can eventually end up bending this or this. So just come in nice and slow, guys. Let it latch. So people on board, just don't let them slam it all the time. So the last thing we're going to do before we get out of the boat today is we're going to just put our battery switches off. Got these all the way back to off. They're all marked, left to right. Now, all our battery switches off. Now the only thing that remains hot right now is the float for the bilge pump and the high water alarm. They like to wire those around the switch, so if it's left in the water and you get water, it's going to let somebody know. Again, key thing, don't just try to pull this hatch down. It's a two-piece. This is to keep it supported so it doesn't hit you in the head when you're down here messing around. Just push that in, get it coming down, and then it's a nice little air shock right there to let it come down nice and easy. Okay, I'm going to get off the boat now. Rodney, they're not on here yet, but we're going to also put down some tie-in straps. That'll tie the boat back down to the trailer, so when you're towing it, you'll have those. We've double-checked the lugs 3 times. I do recommend if you're going to trail it a lot, periodically go ahead and check them. But we always like to say for the first 100 miles of towing, have it just check your lugs to make sure they're staying on nice and tight. We've done it twice. It's already got its 7-pin connection. You're only going to be using 5 on this. So again, whether you trail some boats or not, once you get the boat backed up on the ball, this goes in behind the ball. Just do it on this side so you can see it. And that's going to hold this thing from ever popping up. If for some reason your backup fuse blew, that's what sends a signal to you to disengage the brakes. So if you're trying to back up